Thanks for joining us on Arirang News. I'm Kim Dami in Seoul. Following an explosion on a Korean cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, the government is dispatching experts urgently to look into the cause. The decision follows an emergency meeting convened at the Blue House earlier today. Our Kim Do-yeon has the latest.
The Korean government is urgently deploying maritime and forensic experts to the Middle East to investigate an explosion aboard a Korean cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz. According to senior Blue House spokesperson Kang Yoo-jung on Tuesday, response measures were finalized during an emergency meeting led by Presidential Chief of Staff Kang Un-sik. Once the damaged vessel is towed to a nearby port, safety inspectors from the Korean Register will board the ship. To ensure an independent probe, investigators from the Korean Maritime Safety Tribunal and forensic experts from the National Fire Agency are also being dispatched. The government anticipates the investigation will take several days. Authorities are maintaining real-time communication with the vessel and providing updates to the crew's families. The Blue House also reiterated that the government has been conducting daily safety checks with the 26 Korean ships anchored in the area. Diplomatically, Seoul is coordinating closely with the U.S, Iran, and Gulf Cooperation Council states. The response follows an unexplained explosion on the port side of the HMM bulk carrier Namu at 3:40 p.m. Gulf Standard Time on Monday. The fire was extinguished by the crew after a few hours and there were no casualties among the 24 on board. However, the ship has been damaged. The vessel had been anchored near the United Arab Emirates due to the ongoing closure of the strait, and following the incident, the ship will be towed to Dubai for the investigation and repair. The incident notably coincided with the first day of a U.S. maritime escort operation in the region. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Korea is assessing whether to join the U.S.-led maritime operation Project Freedom in the Strait of Hormuz, following a call from U.S. President Donald Trump. The Blue House said on Tuesday that the government is looking at the proposal, taking into account the security posture on the Korean Peninsula and relevant legal procedures. It added that Seoul is in close communication with Washington to ensure the safe use of key maritime routes, including the strait. Now, this comes after Trump urged Korea to come and join the mission in a social media post on Monday. Project Freedom aims to escort commercial vessels stranded after the closure of the waterway. Iran has attacked the United Arab Emirates for the first time since the ceasefire with the U.S. was reached around a month ago. The UAE says that on Monday local time, an Iranian drone struck the Fujairah oil industrial zone, injuring 3 workers. Now, the site is a key export hub used to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. Iran also fired 60 missiles at the UAE, with 15 intercepted. This follows a drone strike on a UAE oil tanker the previous day. The UAE condemned the attacks as terrorism and indicated potential retaliation. Iranian state media denies the reports, stating it has no intention of targeting the UAE. The strike appears to be a response to the new U.S. maritime escort mission. The incident temporarily halted UAE export airport operations and triggered emergency shelter alerts, raising concerns over the stability of the ceasefire. And as military tensions reignited across the Middle East, global oil prices shot up sharply. On Monday, the international benchmark Brent future surged 5.8% to settle above $114.44 per barrel, its highest level since May 2022, after an Iranian drone strike caused a fire in a key oil industrial zone in the UAE city of Fujairah. And U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude also climbed more than 4% to close above $106. Wall Street also came under pressure, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average falling 1.13% and the S&P 500 slipping 0.41%. Marking Children's Day here in Korea today, President Lee Jae-myung welcomed children to the Blue House.
청와대에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 오늘은 무슨 날?
Around 200 children and their guardians were invited, including those from struggling rural areas, multicultural families, and those living with rare diseases. They toured the Blue House's main building with President Lee and First Lady Kim Hae-kyung before heading to Nokjiwon Garden. There, the President and First Lady joined them in face painting and making keychains. Lee's office says the first couple will also deliver low-carbohydrate snacks to children with a glycogen storage disease through the Korea GSD Family Association. Now, speaking of Children's Day here in Korea, in an age dominated by screens where smartphones are a constant presence in young lives, a different scene is unfolding at local libraries. Our Jung Hae-rim met with the children rediscovering the joy of reading.
Growing up with a tablet in their hands, children today may be more familiar with a screen than paper. But as bite-sized content dominates their attention, experts emphasize that physical books are more important than ever. Here at the National Library for Children and Young Adults, the soft sound of turning pages fills the cozy atmosphere. These children are learning that true literacy, the ability to understand context and think critically, begins with the turn of a page.
All books have different illustrations, and that's really interesting to see. I like mystery and detective books because it feels like a real event that happened.
Unlike digital screens that provide instant visuals, physical books require children to build the world themselves. Connecting with the characters with their imagination, this mental immersion also fosters deeper empathy as they learn to walk in a character's shoes one page at a time.
I like the cream puff cookie character. She's very gentle and always helps others.
Specialized libraries like this one in Songpa-gu District act as literacy playgrounds. The easygoing atmosphere makes books accessible and fun. Children can simply pick a book they like and start reading wherever. Today's children are digital natives, but in a world of instant swipes, young readers are still finding joy in the simple act of turning a page. The focus is on making reading a habit. This type of focused reading acts as a workout for the brain, helping kids improve their attention span in a world full of digital distractions.
I like books that come out as series. You can read them anytime, even during short breaks. And books are fun even when you read them again, but TV shows aren't as fun the second time.
Even complex history becomes an exciting discovery when it's found at one's own pace. For Ujin, his library hours are spent exploring the legends of the past.
I am reading a book about Admiral Yi Sun-shin.
As Korea celebrates Children's Day, these young readers remind us that even in a world where content is becoming shorter and louder, the magic of books continues to endure. Jung Hae-rim, Arirang News.
That's all we have for today. Arirang News will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Korea time. Thanks for watching.